listening to the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. My name is Curtis. This is a variety talk show where we talk about life, relationships, gossip, and news. There could be some profanity, but definitely lots of laughs. All right, folks, pleasant good afternoon to you. You are listening to your host. My name is Curtis with the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. I have my lovely co-host here, Jessica, and more of Jessica.
I'm only one person.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like three people.
No, I'm not Sybil. My name is Jessica, not Sybil.
Any event, folks, we want to thank you for tuning in to just a great, grand show here on this afternoon. So once again, thanks for tuning in. And you are, again, listening to the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show here on Spreaker. So, like always, we start off with our power word of the day.
Oh, you're introducing a power word?
Well, you are. I'm sure it's about. I'm sure it's about love.
You mean a thought of the day?
Yeah, thought of the day. Power
I thought
word.
you were speaking of something like Toastmasters, where there's like a word of the day, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm not prepared for that. I mean, I can bring one, but I didn't.
Yeah. So, okay, thoughts, words, make up thoughts. So, bring it.
Anyway, and again, this is from my Promises of Love book.
Oh,
the
so warm
word of today is love. Is more than words. It is demonstrated through actions. Love is manifested in the day-to-day occurrences of small kindnesses and spoken words. Love is lending a patient ear and taking time to care. That is the word of today.
Wow, you get a really big, huge applause for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm taking my bows.
There you go. In any event, thank you for that wonderful word of the day. With that being said, that we've got some things on our plate we want to get off. We want to just...
Get off?
Well, get off our plate, that is, of course, Jessica. In any event, we've got some things that we want to talk about, some great stuff. And again, I looked at my resources, and my resources were just coming in by the droves. There are just all kinds of information. And... it's
information
hard.
About what?
Well, show topics. It's hard not to look at the different resources and try to pick out something. And it's just a lot of bad news. And unfortunately, I've had to kind of really go through my resources and make sure I'm picking something not so depressing, but at the same time uplifting as well. But
then that just means that you need to select different resources.
Right.
That would mean that your resources are very morbid and it's disturbing.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's where I'm at, though. I don't know.
You're in a black, dark place right now?
Yeah, it kind of feels like that sometimes.
Oh, dear.
So, anyways, folks, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Catch the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show live on Spreaker, Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Time and Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central Time. If you miss our live show, you can listen anytime on demand on Spreaker, the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show.
All right, folks, once again, we are back here on the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. You're listening to The Weekend Show. That, in fact, is the title of our show, The Weekend. So don't miss out. If you do miss out, you can always download it on demand or listen to it on demand through Spreaker. And we just recently uploaded our RSS feed onto podcast.com, so you can check it out there as well. So once more, we're going to go ahead and get started with our topics of our show today. So let Miss Jessica take the show.
Okay, well, if you clearly listened to my thought of the day, you would have heard that the last sentence was, love is lending a patient ear and taking time to care.
Right.
Nice. This weekend, I did some volunteer work. I packaged up supplies and donations and sent those off to the men and women soldiers located in the war zone. So I think volunteer work is really, really important.
It really is.
It's good to give back to the community. It also provides a sense of, what's the word? A sense of...
Dignity?
Not dignity. Like something that you do, like self-worth. Is that a good word?
Right. That's a great word,
It gives you like
Great
a
word.
sense of self-worth, that you're doing something for someone else.
Right.
And I took a bunch of magazines like GQ, Self, Better Homes and Gardens, because I'm getting behind and my magazine pile at home is growing. So I figured I got the GQ for Curtis to look at. I guess he doesn't care about smelling good and looking good and dressing good.
Well, I'm already looking good and smelling good.
Whatever. So anyway, he doesn't even take the plastic off of the magazine, so forget about it. I'm going to go ahead and give them to...
I get it through osmosis, that's why.
Oh, man. Oh, brother.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went ahead and gave those magazines away to, again, the men and women serving in the military. So I'm glad.
When you left with those magazines, I thought those magazines were for the volunteers, to give the volunteers something to do.
Well, I saw a whole bunch of them sitting on the table, so
Really?
they didn't put them in all the boxes.
Right.
Unfortunately, with that being said, normally we pack, I don't know, I would say we pack about maybe 20 boxes, maybe more. Last time I did this, we didn't have a really big turnout because the weather was bad. There was snow. And I guess people that were driving in were like, screw it. I'm not going to, kill myself trying to come, because you know how they drive. We won't say where we're located.
Right.
But you know how they drive. So anyway, we didn't want to, I guess they didn't want to at the time drive. Now I live relatively close to where the volunteer place is. So, I could even walk if I had to. So I managed to make it when it was snowing and icy and all that. But this time we had a way bigger turnout because the weather was so nice. But we had more people, less supplies.
Right.
And what was supposed to be a 5-hour project, we knocked it out in less than 2 hours.
Well, you know what? With that being said, because volunteering it is very important. My mom would volunteer as well. And actually, she landed a pretty good job there in Las Vegas at the time we were there.
Next time I go, you should go too.
Yeah, it would be nice, really nice. And any event, so what would you offer as, maybe just a encouraging word for those who have the items to share with the soldiers? What would you offer? What advice can you share?
That's a good question. There are a lot of people who contact, because, I like to I like to put everything on Facebook. So, I went out there and I said, this is what I've done this weekend. I get a lot of people who, in turn, reach out to me and say, oh, you know what? The next time there's one of these volunteer organization things going for the troops, let me know, because I would love to come with you. So for those people who reach out to me, I am going to request that they not only come with me, but you need to bring something.
Right.
Clean out your magazine box like I did. Clean paperback books, hardcover books, just things that you're not using. You might have something in your pantry that you're not eating. For instance, there were boxes of cereal that people packed up.
Right. Hopefully the cereal's not old. So nothing like you're in a war zone eating stale cereal
Come
or something.
on now. I wouldn't expect for anybody to bring anything that's stale.
Yeah,
stale.
Me either. Hopefully
so
not.
like microwave popcorn, and that was one of my questions, because I have some microwave popcorn in the cupboard, and I was like, well, should I take it? Do they have microwaves? But I would imagine that they have all what little comforts that they can have, they do. So something like a microwave or maybe a toaster oven, they might have that.
Right.
So any canned goods, if you have some canned goods that are not expired, things like toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap.
Right.
I saw a bottle of hand sanitizer. Just little things like you might have trial things at home that you want to pack up. Maybe you go to a hotel and you like to take the shampoos or the conditioners or the shower caps.
You like to take them. They're there for you. So you can, in fact,
Well,
take them.
yeah,
So
but
it's
you
just-
take them and you don't use them.
Right,
Like I
right.
have something here that I have like a bag of like trial size items that, and I don't even know why I didn't bring them, but I will next time. I have to dig them out and take a look and see where
Right,
they
right,
are.
right.
But those are the things that we're asking for.
Yeah, so as Jessica just so long-windedly shared,
Whatever.
but if you, in fact, again, just kind of on the heels of what she was just saying, if you have items in your home that you want to donate,
First,
me.
I want you to donate your time.
Right,
And
right.
second, when you donate your time, make sure you're bringing something to put in that box as a donation.
right, and you know what? It's interesting too because volunteering sometimes, so many of people, and especially including our kids, and I'm guilty of this as well, want our time. They don't just want our things; they want our time. So, as Jessica just so eloquently stated, is that if you have the opportunity to volunteer not only with things but volunteer with your time. So I think that's going to be important. Again, as it is with our own family, our kids, for all that matter. Again, they want our time. And again, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes we're seeking for riches and gold and trying to get here and trying to get there. And the kids are just wanting our time. So same with the soldiers. They just want our time, and they're out there by themselves and just maybe just with a few family members left, or, we don't know their situation. So again, make a,
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Right.
They don't have access to the simple to things that are so simple that we have access to every day.
right.
Like a GQ magazine. We can go over to the magazine shop or
Right.
bookstore or whatever you call it, because you can tell obviously I don't go into those places.
No. you don't.
But you can go and buy a magazine, any kind of magazine. They can't, or they can, but what is it? What language is it in?
Yeah, I
don't
don't know.
understand,
GQ and
Yeah, I don't.
Iraqi or something.
We don't know where they're located. We just like to say
Yeah.
the war zone. We don't want to bust their cover open.
right.
So
There, there they are.
over there. See,
Right. But anyways, folks, so we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
What happens when your computer goes kaput?
What? Oh, come on! Not now!
You could buy a new one.
Yeah, but have you seen my bank account lately?
Maybe have a friend try to fix it.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Or you could call the local experts, Computer Clinic. At Computer Clinic, they can bring a dead computer back to life. PC, Mac, whatever. And they guarantee the lowest prices in the region. Stop procrastinating and call Computer Clinic now at 423-TECH. That's 314-423-8324. And computer repair is only the start. Computer Clinic can take care of any computer need that you might have, including smartphone, iPhone, and iPad repair. And if you own a small business, then call Computer Clinic. From network setup to data recovery to phone system repair, if it involves a computer, then Computer Clinic can do it. And they'll do it for a lot less than anyone else in town. Call Computer Clinic now. 423-TECH. 314-423-8324.
All right, folks, we are back again. Thanks for tuning in to the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show here on Spreaker. We have an awesome show. Our show is entitled This Weekend, so it's all about this weekend.
that is so funny because when you said the title before, you said the weekend. So I scratched out on my paper this. So what
Wow.
is this show called?
This Weekend.
Oh my God.
THIS, and it's right in front of my face, so I
Cross
just...
it off again.
Yeah, so...
I keep a log of what we do
I
and
know,
our
and
titles and what we talk about. My paper's getting messy.
any event, all right, folks, I've got a really interesting topic, and
All right. Woo!
yeah, I'm gonna go first this time.
I already went first.
Oh,
You
you
got
did? Oh, okay.
you got to go second anyway again.
Any event, all right, got an interesting topic today, and Jessica kind of alluded to it earlier. She made mention of this particular social media site already, but in the news, it's not all gruesome and doom and all that stuff, but right. But anyway, this couple robbed a bank, and perhaps you've seen it on one of your resources there. But this couple robbed a bank, and
How'd that work out for them?
Well, I think the robbery worked out fine, which is, you know, I mean, well,
Was it supposed to?
well, I'll put it this way. I think their plan worked out fine.
No, they had a great plan, but it was poorly executed.
No. Let me finish. Let me tell my story. All right. So, in any event, they had a plan, and they robbed the bank, and that was their plan. Okay. And so they robbed the bank, and guess what they did?
What?
Guess which social media site they used?
They posted it on Twitter,
No.
Facebook.
Yeah, you mentioned Facebook earlier. Remember?
No.
In any event. So, yeah, she mentioned that she likes to share things on Facebook. And so I said, oh, wow, hope she doesn't tell my story. But
I don't know your story.
well, anyways, the resources out there are available to all kinds of people. So, in any event, yeah, so this
Wait.
this couple decides to rob a bank, and they posted on Facebook, not the scene of them robbing a bank, but they posted the fact that they robbed a bank, and they are taking pictures with the money in their mouth, taking pictures.
They put the dirty money in their mouth.
That's way
Like coins?
That's way above everything else. But in any event, they put the money in their mouth, and they've got the money in their hand, taking pictures with friends or family or other people who were, part of this this grand scheme to rob a bank. So, what do you like to post on Facebook? Send us an email and let us know what your, do you post your family secrets?
Guns and money?
Yeah, your guns and money and,
And your machetes?
Right. So what things are you posting on Facebook? And so I guess it's more like,
Your drugs?
Is there such thing as Facebook etiquette?
Yeah, there is. There's the rules for the community.
For what community?
Facebook. Every social media site has etiquette and rules for that particular community.
So do you actually pay attention to them on Facebook?
Well, I do, because if I don't like something, I'm telling.
Wow. Ever since I've known you, just been a tattletale.
Especially when I see all that naked stuff that comes onto my Facebook page.
Yeah, that's a little bit irritating sometimes. You know what? Speaking of telling on someone, I remember my sister as a kid. She was always telling on me about something in his big mouth. And I mean, we laugh about it now, but at the time it was not funny because I'd be outside playing with my friends and just get engaged and playing ball or something like that, some kind of sports or whatever, or just hanging out. And so my mom would say, Curtis, make sure you have the dishes. A lot of times summertime or something like that. Make sure you have the dishes done before I get to work, before I come home from work. And sure enough, I'd be outside playing and having a ball and just really in the back of my mind and saying, okay, I'll get there. I'll do the dishes later. Next, later comes and
I'm telling.
Right. I've got to bribe my sister and say, I'll give you part of my allowance. So guess what? Get in the house.
Mama, guess what?
Right. So that's what you remind me of.
Curtis didn't do the dishes.
Right. And then I would still have to give her my money. And that just wasn't fair, so I'm still bothered about that.
But see, you're the one that's like crazy because what's that saying?
No.
Fool me, what is it? Fool me once.
You know what? I think it's something with
fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
Fool me once, shame on me.
But
fool me
I
twice,
think
shame on you.
I think it's something with girls, something you just believe them. I just it was young, obviously at the time, but I've since learned some things. So
no, you're still a little gullible.
Whatever. But anyways, I've learned some things. So if I were to say, Davina, can you do the dishes? She'd say, yeah. And I said, no, you won't. So that's one of those things. So now I've learned some things. So,
but what if she said to you, still to this day, I'll do it for $20, and then you give her the money, and then she doesn't do the dishes.
Well, thankfully I don't.
That means you're still gullible.
Well, thankfully, I don't have the fear of my mom giving me a spanking or something, or whooping. It was called a whooping back then. So
how about if your mom doesn't do it and someone else does?
A beating. Who would be doing?
That one got you all caught up.
Right.
Tongue twisted.
So, in any event, this couple decides to post their pictures on Facebook, and I mean, let us know what you guys think about that. Has social media gone too far, or have the people on social media gone too far?
I'm saying the people have gone too far. People are just ridiculous, and they don't set boundaries for themselves.
Well,
who does that?
Well, the other part of that is that, again, I asked 2 questions. Has the social media networks or companies gone too far, or the people? So you're telling me that the social media gurus, Facebook, Twitter, all those guys, we know who they are. But so you're telling me with their guidelines in place or their community rules that they have not actually slacked off on what they initially stated, in their community, and now they're just, putting the hammer down and saying, okay, no. Or are they more laid back in the rules and people are posting what they want?
Okay. Everybody has to have some set of rules in place.
Right.
For their social media.
Correct.
I get that. Mm-hmm. But social media has blown up so big that it's hard for that content that you're putting out there to be monitored on a regular basis.
Right.
So with that said, stuff will slip through the cracks.
Well, you know what? You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the, like if you're at a job, you say we have a policy, you can wear shorts. How a person comes in wearing shorts maybe at their knee. The next the person comes in wearing Daisy Dukes. And then
Sally Joe comes in with Daisy Dukes.
Right. So, any event, so I just wanted to share that. So, what were you saying now?
I forgot. That thought that you just put into my mind erased everything that I was going to say.
Right. Sorry about
terrible.
that. Sorry.
But at any rate, it's just too big for them to get their arms around, and stuff slips through the cracks. Someone out there's got to be monitoring it. That's my big word for today, monitoring. But at any rate, and it's just stupid stuff. That's people that put that they murdered someone, that they stole this, that some kind of crime was committed.
Right,
Those are the people who are always going to get caught, because that stuff is serious. And I think as a whole, people as a whole, especially after events like 9/11, everybody is looking and they're on defense, and certain things Facebook might not catch, but you or I or someone else who's watching that would. Right. So what's that saying? It takes a village to raise a. What is it? It takes a village
to raise a. Yeah.
It just takes a village and
to raise a country or something like that.
Whatever. It takes
a village to raise a child.
Yeah. So that's the kind of mentality. The rules are in place. It's too big for them to get their arms around. It takes a village.
That's true, but who's going to take responsibility for raising that village, or at least begin the work in raising that village?
There's a lot of people who want to be supermen and superwomen.
But, I mean, can we on one day be like, okay, that's cool, things need to be monitored? That's, I totally get that. And our next day, who do they think they are telling me about how I should do things? I think, again, I agree with you, Jessica, but I think that that's the dual role that we play sometimes. And sometimes we understand the censorship. Other times we are totally, you can't censor me. So
there's an amendment, and it's the Fifth Amendment that you have for freedom of speech.
Correct.
But I really do believe that people take that freedom of speech or freedom of whatever way out of the realm of what it was
intended.
Yeah.
Right.
So there you have it.
But again, back to the knee-high shorts and then the Daisy Dukes. So.
The gauchos.
Oh, wow. Jeez, that takes me way back. The knickers, that takes me way back. Gauchos. Remember the penny loafers? How about those, the penny
loafers? I mean, loafers are still in existence. I mean, you probably won't see people walking around in high school wearing them. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. It's been a minute since I've been in high school, but...
Yeah, long minute.
You don't...
But in any event, I used to have some penny loafers. Or like,
who didn't have?
Well, no, they weren't like penny loafers. I call them like dime loafers because they were like white and.
Ew! You were a kid wearing white shoes like an old man, and they weren't tennis shoes.
No, they weren't tennis shoes. Well,
you're like, folks, this is really funny because I always tell Curtis that he's like this old man, and he's not. But he acts like an old man, and this right here
solidifies
has spoken volumes. Yes, it has solidified my thought of you as being an old man before your time.
No, I'm not an old man. I just,
You did old things even when you were a kid. Ew.
That's funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But with that being said, folks, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to talk some more to Jessica about her topic. So we'll be right back. Follow us, the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show, on Twitter, SoundCloud, Skype, YouTube, and Google+. Yeah.
See, even that music, that's something that Curtis picked out. That's even old manish.
Whatever the case might be. All right, folks, again, welcome back here to our show that is the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show here on Spreaker. Again, thanks for joining us on our show entitled This Weekend. So Jessica doesn't have to scratch
that's right.
her paper out. So with that being said, again, thanks for joining us. If you want to know more information about what we're doing here or be a part of our show, we have a Skype account set up for that purpose. You can, again, sign into Skype. Our Skype name will be the Curtis and Jessica Variety Show. Again, that's our Skype username, the Curtis and Jessica Variety Show. They're on Skype. So give us a holla, chat, holla. In any event, check us out there on Skype. And also, if you want to send us an email, get more information about the show, or just request some topics, or just our opinion on certain things, our outlook or perspective, suggestions, whatever the case might be, you can contact us at our Gmail account. That's going to be the Curtis and Jessica Variety Show at gmail.com. Once more, the Curtis and Jessica Variety Show at gmail.com. With that being said, I'm going to let Miss Jessica take the mic.
Yeah, so far this morning we've talked about doing volunteer work and how it would give one a sense of fulfillment and
sense of pride too.
Yeah, sense of pride, sense of fulfillment, self-worth, all those nice words.
Or self-worth, yeah. Self-assessment, the self-words, self-assessment, self-reality, self-check.
Okay. And then we also talked about boundaries, what you can say and do on social media. Is it all appropriate, or is it just asinine? The next thing that I'm going to be talking about is, and if for those of you who joined us on our Wednesday show, Curtis and I kind of touched upon how we were venturing out into new endeavors. Sometimes we'll talk about stuff that is actually very smart. We don't always talk about stupid stuff that people do or that we do. But we talked about, in previous shows, about podcasting. We talked about how we're doing some audiobook work, narrating of audiobook, engineering, doing the sound on that. And we just completed our first project.
Excited.
Oh, my gosh.
Ugh. Yes.
Oh my gosh. It was just many hours, long nights.
Yes, indeed.
It was rough.
It was grueling.
Yeah, and I went to bed last night with no dinner, and my body started feeding upon itself.
That really messed her up. Yeah, she became really grouchy. I felt like that.
Oh my God!
You know that Snicker commercial? Yeah, that Snicker commercial was definitely.
It was terrible, but I'm really excited. Now we have to go through the process of getting the completing the sound check of it. It has to go through now a third party
25-point check.
A third party who will actually go ahead and do the assessment and listen for it's like a quality control.
Yeah, QC.
Yeah, something like that. And now and that's a long process within itself. It's going to take probably about a couple of weeks, and then they'll come back and say, okay, either it was great or you need to tighten up some of these areas.
Right.
So we're just kind of waiting on that. One of the things that Curtis and I laughed about was The project that we completed was a rather long project. It took us several days to complete for only about 35 minutes of content. So it was kind of crazy. But at any rate, the guy that we're working with, the rights holder of the book, he's really cool, right? So yeah, we're banging this out. We kind of it was other things that were involved where we kind of missed our deadline and got kind of behind. But no worries, we're not that far behind. We just had to ask for an extra day. So that's one project. Again, we completed that, and then at the same time, simultaneously, we're working on another project that's a little shorter, and it's like, no joke, maybe a 10-minute book.
Right.
This person is kind of putting us through the ringer on the wall. There's some things you need to, and rightfully so, but it's just ironic how some of the larger projects that you do are really quick, and then something that's supposed to be really short that you think that you can crank out in a day is going to now take a week.
I totally agree with you, and that's life, and it's just life. It's like that sometimes, and
didn't Frank Sinatra write a song about that? That's life.
Right, he did. Actually, it was nice. I think Eugene Landau sang that really nice song.
Yeah. He's from America's Got Talent.
Right.
If you're listening, Eugene, I want some tickets to see your show.
Great.
I'll go wherever you're located. I got the transportation there. You just give me some tickets.
Yeah.
I need 2.
So touching bases on what Jessica just said, it's so true that some of the things that require the least amount of work are sometimes the most complicated for whatever reason. It just makes you want to pull your hair out and pull their hair out too. But
for me, it's more like, oh no, you didn't.
Right.
I know you should.
Well, that's that's the nature of the work, I'm sure. But anything else you got there?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I'm going to talk about failing productively. And it's really interesting because in the past, I've worked with youth, and it was just something dear to me. I enjoy encouraging people and just having a blast here. And even though sometimes we get cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs here in the show and just kind of zany, we have a lot of fun. But again, I think most of us, there's that dualness to our personalities. We enjoy, sometimes, unfortunately, we enjoy the weird side of life and the abstract perspectives. Then we enjoy the more conservative side or conservative perspectives, and we can go either way depending on how we're feeling that day. So with that being said, again, I would like to, in the past, I worked with youth and many youth, and encouraged them, learned a lot. And so I seen this book called Failing Productively. And it's interesting because the author of the book is Jessica Lahey, and I don't know her, but I'm okay with...
And it's not me.
Yes, not this Jessica here. But in any event, I'm definitely okay with plugging her book because it's very interesting how the concept that you have, other people are thinking the same thing. So and that's kind of what I want to talk about, how, again, giving our show more structure, more content, as Jessica alluded to earlier. It's not just, we can be serious sometimes, and we can also be zany and just really silly. And we have fun either way. Again, depending on the day, we're having fun. So this Miss Jessica Lahey was speaking to the fact that, she wrote a book called The Gift of Failure, and it's how the best parents let go so their children can succeed. So again, that's kind of what I was working with in dealing with the children a lot of times. And so many times often we as parents or people on the outside, we think it's the children. And what I learned with talking with the youth is that a lot of times during working with the youth, they would be in your presence, they're learning something, and they're getting the information, and as soon as they go home, the information in a lot of ways went in one ear and out the other. And it's unfortunate, but the reality of it is that sometimes it's the parents who are pulling the strings, if you will. Not sometimes. In most cases, it's the parents who are pulling the string. And so a lot of times you're saying, why won't the children do this? Why won't the children do this? And sometimes the parents can just be in the way. Sometimes the parents can be in the way. And again, just reading an excerpt from Jessica's book, the Gift of Failure is the name of the book, and reading an excerpt from the book, she just mentioned that she's not talking about letting your children go off by themselves, but trust them that they can do a good job. Trust them with whatever task or assignment that you've given them, in a sense that you don't have to watch over them. You don't have to hang out and make sure they're doing it, or make sure the project is done. So again, trust them with that. And I'm definitely guilty of that, because my mother, as a kid, my mother would tell me to do something, and she wanted it done now. And so that's how I operate, and that's how I operate as a parent myself. So again, we're all learning something. So let's not forget that no one is perfect. That none of us are perfect. So again, remind ourselves of that, humble ourselves, and come into just a different perspective, because the manner and how we operate, it came from somewhere. So whether I was teaching the youth and they were grasping the concepts, and then at the next moment they go home, again, it's one ear and out the other. It's the same way we operated as well. Our parents were pulling the strings, and we had been given certain information. It sounded good. We responded favorably to the ideas and different concepts. But no sooner than we were out of sight, that information was gone. So, again, it's important that we understand that there is a source to our craziness in a lot of ways. Again, for me, it was my mother told me to do something she wanted done now. It wasn't when you could get to it. It wasn't 5 minutes now. It wasn't even on a time schedule. Do this at 2:00, whatever the case might be. It's do this now so you don't forget. And so that's been my motto, at least trying to, remember that. Do it now so you don't forget. So with that being said, I just wanted to just remind everyone who's listening, and myself as well, that as the book is appropriately titled, The Gift of Failure, is that we can learn a lot from our mistakes. We can learn a lot from our mistakes. And so one of the things that Miss Jessica spoke of is just that getting out there. Parents, letting your children go so they can learn and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. My mother would talk to me as a youth, and she would always mention about the teachable moments. So again, whether it be for us or our children, there are definitely teachable moments out there, and you'll have an opportunity to correct a mistake that your child has made, or taken in the task or the assignment that you've given him or her, and make it right. Again, allow them to learn from it, so they can be productive people, or citizens in this great country of ours, and go on to be perhaps millionaires. You never know, or gazillionaires. So that's
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a word. Look it up. But in any event, so that's all I got for today, and it's been fun. So I'm gonna swing it back to Jessica.
Isn't that funny though? What's the deal with our kids? Are we raising them incorrectly? When on earth would we have ever fixed our mouths to say to our parent or parents that I will do it in just a few minutes? Like you said, we would get up if your parent told you to do something, you got up and you did that now.
Exactly.
There was no
Exactly.
You couldn't even like make your mouth look like it was about to form a word.
Right.
You had to get up and do it. And that was it. What the heck is going on with these kids where they're like, I'm busy right now. Well, you're going to be busy pulling my foot out your ass in a minute if you don't get in here and do what I told you to do.
Or picking up your teeth. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I saw the most hilarious picture today on Facebook. It was, you know how they post those things? This is what you would be doing if you talk back to your mom.
Right.
And it was a picture of Daffy Duck, and he was picking his beak up off the floor.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
It was. But these kids, man, they are whacked.
Right.
Where are they getting this information from? And are we doing something wrong as parents to allow this? But before I let you comment on them, I have a few kids. A couple of them
Okay.
are a little older. There's one that's younger,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a joy. He would never fix his mouth to talk back to me.
Right.
But
right.
With my middle child, it was like what you said, and I know doggone well that I didn't
Right,
raise her
right.
to say, I'm busy now, or I can't, or just move so freaking slow.
Did you want to
that
say,
it
forget about it, I'll do it?
frustrated
Yeah.
you, and you ended up doing it because you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
I asked you to do this because I wanted it done now.
Exactly.
You might not have given me any back talk about it, and you were smart not to do so.
Right, right. It was
But
just the attitude.
Why are,
yeah.
and not even the attitude, just moving slow. What? We have somewhere to go.
Exactly,
I told you
exactly.
to go put your shoe. What are you doing?
Exactly.
What? Oh, forget it. I'll do it. I'll go inside and get it. Because by the time you fumble around
Right.
looking for whatever I told you to look for,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm going to be late, or you're going to be late to school. We're on a schedule.
Well, interesting enough, that was actually one of the things that Miss Jessica, the author of this book,
Mm-hmm.
The Gift of Failure, that was one of the things that she mentioned in regards to not getting ourselves worked up in regards to that task or that assignment is not being done in a more timely fashion, and just giving them the room to get it done. And
That's not fair.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
if I
not
agree with
fair
that one,
because
but
we didn't
it's,
have quote unquote happy room to do.
Well, and
what,
I think
when we got ready to do it, 'cause
I think
sometimes that
that-
time would never come, like you mentioned.
Right, right.
Do it now so you don't forget.
Forget about- exactly,
Okay, I
exactly.
don't want to have to go back to you in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes, in 45 minutes, an hour, and you
Right.
still haven't done it yet.
Right, right.
Now I'm angry at you.
Exactly. Yeah, so again, that was one of the things that Miss Jessica Lee wrote about in the book in regards to
I'm sick of people all
Giving
trying to
your
be
children-
nice to these kids.
giving your children time
They're
and
not paying any bills.
right. Well, some of them might be in some instances, but nevertheless, for the most part,
They're spoiled.
we have to just, I think, what's interesting too, and I'm going to raise this point, then we're going to take a break. It's interesting because I seen this commercial a while ago, and I can't remember if it was a diaper wipe commercial, but any event, the lady is holding her baby. It's her first child. She's excited about it, and she ends up in a commercial. She ends up at the repair shop.
Oh, I think it's like hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
or something.
okay, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, she ends up like at a car repair place, and the mechanic's hands are filthy, and she's just overprotective with the child and things of that nature. And again, this is the first child, and so it's just very precautious. And so she's got the wipe hand sanitizer and all that stuff, and next thing you know, the commercial goes to a scene where she's got her second baby, and now the second baby, she doesn't even care who's holding the baby. She's giving the baby to the man with the dirty hands, and so it's just one of those things. I think that once we have children, we kind of get relaxed about certain things. So before you mention or speak on that, let's
I'm
take a
done
break.
with that.
Great. We'll be right back.
You are listening to the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. My name is Jessica. This is a variety talk show where we talk about life, relationships, gossip, and news. There could be some profanity, but definitely lots of laughs.
All right, we're back here once more here on the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. And I just want to mention these words too. I forgot to mention them. The 3 words that Miss Jessica Lee and her crew of teachers and other friends researched were, the 3 words were resilience, competence, and adaptation. So that's going to be key to turning your failure into a gift. So think about that. Resilience, competence, and adaptation. Again, you're key to turning your failure into your gift. So think about it. Once more, you are listening to your host. We're going to swing it back to Jessica for just a few moments, folks. Looks like we are wrapping it up here. So after that, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
So we forgot to mention at the beginning of the show to tell everybody that this is live. Whatever we say is what we said. We can't take it back.
Not taking it back.
And I'm not trying to, but at any rate, it's
Go
live.
figure.
And, we say stuff and...
We say very important stuff.
We say stuff and We're normal. We're human. We do stuff.
All right, folks, take a break and be right back.
Ciao.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here on the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show here on Spreaker.
I like that piece of music. It sounds
It's
like
cool. It's cool.
It sounds like sci-fi disco.
It is coming up part of my sci-fi collection. No, I'm kidding. No, not
yeah,
my
it sounds
sci-fi
like
collection.
sci-fi disco.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Once more, again, thanks for tuning into our fantastic and wonderful, great and grand show here on Spreaker. That is the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. We are live here, and we have been live here since 3 o'clock on today.
Yeah.
So with that being said, got some great news for you. If you're interested in advertising with our show or advertising on our show, or you got some ideas for your organization to promote it, you can promote your organization right here on our
Talk show.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Again, that is the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. Again, we have a spot just for you. That music that you just heard.
The sci-fi disco.
Yeah, the sci-fi disco was a spot that we created for you. So, again, contact us at our Gmail account. That is going to be the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show at gmail.com. The Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show at gmail.com.
And let's remind everybody that the commercials
Right.
and all that you've heard this afternoon, those are commercials that Curtis and I have put together, with the exception of the computer clinic. That is not something that we produced.
All right. It is not something we produce, but the client of ours actually sent us his information, and so we were gladly to be able to accommodate his.
We had some other sci-fi disco
Right,
music
right.
in that area that
Right.
that ad is placed in.
Right. So we were able to accommodate his wishes, and we plugged him right into our show spot. So again, that can be your opportunity as well to advertise with us here on the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show. Once more, our email account is going to be the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show at gmail.com. The Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show at gmail.com. With that being said, folks, we are going to say, see you later, alligator. After a while,
Crocodile. And it was so nice to spend our afternoon, or allow us to spend the afternoon, or at least 45 minutes with you. We're looking forward to sharing our time with you again on Wednesday.
all right, ciao.
Want more of the Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show? Find us live on Spreaker, Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central Time. The Curtis and Jessica Variety Talk Show.